Hello and welcome to Goodrick Farms. We're back with another episode of UMRV Upper Mississippi River Valley, and we have finally hit that point where our two different drivers on the same courseplay course are more or less catching up with each other, or at least the first driver is caught up with where we started the second driver off. And honestly, there's only a couple more rows of straw to pick up over here. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to fill up the rest of this guy manually, and then we're going to drive him back up to the farm and get our next job moving here, which is we're going to spread some manure on these two fields, or rather I should say our new combined larger field. And hopefully this will be a good test of what it's going to be like to have our equipment operating on one bigger, more efficient field. I'm kind of curious to see how this is all going to play out. But first, I'd like to get this straw picked up. No sense driving this thing back up to the farm when it's only a third of the way full, especially because I'm not sure I'll get all the rest of this straw into a single loading wagon. So the less back and forth trips we have to make with the drivers, the better. I don't particularly want to spread manure all over the straw before we pick it up. That doesn't sound like it'd be very hygienic to use for feed. So we're going to try and get this stuff off of the field first. And I should be about full when we get to the other end here. Maybe even have a little bit of room to take some of the next path back with me. But as you can see, you know, we were coming into this with about 30-something% in the hopper, and we're already at 70. We'll be close to 100 by the time we get to the end. So these three strips next to me is going to be more than one loading wagon's worth, I'm pretty sure. And that means that we want to get as much as we can if we don't want to have to make multiple trips out here with the other driver. I think we're in a decent enough spot, though. There's some odds and ends, little bits and pieces laying around that I could probably have picked up, but honestly, we're just focused on getting the bulk of it here and getting back up to the yard. We've got so many jobs left to get done here as we move through the months. And there we go. We've got everything we need for this load back. Now, since we have combined these, and this is just cut grass, I don't feel too bad about driving over it to get to the exit on this part of the field. I think that's going to be a little bit easier than going all the way out to the road and back around. Looks like our driver is back. I'm not sure where he's loading up straw from just right now. It looks like he's going down an empty line, but hopefully he turns back into the rows that are left here momentarily. We might have to help him out a little bit, adjust his course to keep things moving here. But first, we'll go ahead and get started on the slurry spreaders, I think. They've been sitting there ready to go for quite some time. I think both tanks are already full of digestate. So all I got to do is get them out in the field and moving, and we should be good to go. I'm going to go ahead and unload this straw right quick, though. First things first. And I do think we're going to end up going back to just running bales. I need to play around and see if I can figure out how to better load the bales and then bring them and dump them off. We might even try a regular auto load bale trailer at some point, because if I could just dump them out the back there and have them get absorbed by the harvest store before the next ones come off, that would work out really well. However, I think that's going to be as good of a parking spot as any for this tractor. And we're just going to hop over here to the BGA. I know I've got that 9RX that I just hooked up. I'm going to take this one out first, though, and have the good old 9640 it is, right? Oh, no, we're in a 9430, 9620. I'm just going to say numbers until I'm right. 9620 here. This thing has been our most reliable piece of equipment on the farm, so this is going to get the privilege of being the first vehicle out on the course. Got these little nubs of hay down here I should have probably picked up at some point as well, but like I said, The little tiny bits aren't going to be a huge deal. We can always grab them on the next cutting. And here we go. Let's see. Open up our course play. We're going to create a job. It is detecting the larger field. We're going to go multiple tools. And we've been doing 3 headland passes, but since we've got 2 workers now, I'm going to do 2 headland passes, which will be 4 total. And we've been doing skip rows of 1, but I don't need to skip rows because we are going to have 2 vehicles. So I think taking that down to 0 and bringing that up to 2, I think that's going to balance everything out. Let's generate a course and see what it looks like. There we go. Oh, look at that. Nice big passes on this huge field. This should work out amazing for us. And we're going to go ahead and do first waypoint left. I'm going to copy this course before I forget. Get everything unfolded here. It's kind of an awkward start of just a couple of waypoints, but ideally it won't be a big deal. And while we've got that guy going, we'll copy this in here, change that to right, first waypoint, and let's just go ahead and get this tractor out in the field as well. And I also need to set up the auto drive configuration here. So where are we? This is field 3's entrance, even though they're all one field over here. And then we're going to enable that setting. Where is this driver going? And hopefully he's not doing anything too crazy. Come right up here, first waypoint right. Should work out good for us. And then over here, I need to do the same thing. Field 3, BGA, digestate. I gotta hit this. Oh, we are in the right spot. Okay. I'm gonna put nearest waypoint, and then I'm going to toggle that real quick. That enables the auto drive. And I had the course play thing checked for this side. I think we're good to go, folks. Hopefully these two can stay out of each other's way, but keep up with each other, if that makes sense. It makes me nervous. Like, I know that the other tractor and driver there have this down to an art, a science. I don't know. They've got it down, though, where when this guy starts driving off in random directions, I don't have the same level of confidence yet. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And 9620 looks like it's pulling up that hill a little hard. It's going to be interesting. All right. We're on the next path, though, and enabling. Yeah, it looks good. We are maxing out our slurry in some areas, which is probably a bit much. But I want to get one good set of nitrogen down across the field here. Just to give us a good starting point, even if the field that we're in now doesn't need it as much as the other field across the way there. I'll be curious to see if the automatic application rate puts more down over on that other part of the field, or if it's just a flat amount based on soil type. I can never remember how that works because I don't pay that much attention. It's just going to do its thing, though. We can always come over here one time after we get the grass planted and just put down some liquid fertilizer or something as well. Let me pop open our course here. This guy's been driving back and forth and not actually doing a whole lot here. So I want to figure out where he's supposed to be turning into next and get this going. We're gonna disable this. I've got the whole course up so I can figure out where we're supposed to go. All right, it looks like this guy's actually back on some previous course still, so let me go ahead and just start him down the way. I think it's this one is the cut through. Actually, I would have come up from the other side. All right, hang on. Well, rather than redo it all, I'm gonna just we're gonna put him over here and we'll send him down this way. This one right here. I'm gonna have a little bit over here that I missed that we're gonna have to go get, but I'm just on the wrong end of the field. I don't feel like monkeying with it right now, so here we go. This should work out fine. And while I'm thinking about it, because I see my combine way in the distance over there, we're gonna come in and we're actually going to sell this thing off. We are going to buy something new for our harvest, and if I sell it off now, I won't forget, and that way we will probably spend an episode looking around for it when it's time to go buy it, but might as well just clean house now while I'm thinking about it and get it done and out of the way. I am kind of curious though where we're at on these slurry spreaders. I want to see them go back up to the farm the first time and refill. I'm worried that with how big this field is, they're going to end up somewhere down there and not be able to figure out how to get to that field entrance to go reload the slurry. Also, this is apparently the end of our courseplay course, so I've gotten all kinds of worked up here out in the wrong areas. That's okay. I'm going to kill off that course. I don't need the copied course, and let's go ahead and just manually take these last passes. I'm going to have to come back out here one more time, aren't I, with a straw wagon here, loading wagon. I'm going to put this guy on field 3. We're going to see if he can manage to go out the closer exit once we get full, and then work its way back out to at least the field entrance over there. And then we can tackle the last of this straw, because I'm not going to get all of this into this loading wagon as I expected. We probably won't even get past this little bump here. Nah, it's getting full, it's getting full. Big pile of straw. All right, here we go, 100%. Now, if we just do this, will it find its way? It looks like it's got a good idea of where to go. It's headed in the right general direction, so I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, and we're going to hop over here and check in on our 9620. We're doing great. I love seeing two of them go side by side. We're going to knock these fields out so much faster with multiple pieces of equipment, I think. I like it a lot, and I wish I knew exactly how big this field is. Land area for field 6 is 12 acres. Field 3 was 35. Field 4 was 3.42. And then whatever I plowed in between the middle of all those. Well, we won't necessarily figure that out right now. Looking good. I actually am surprised we're not using more slurry than we are. We're only down to about 55% of the tank, so we'll be into the long rows this time, I think. It's hard to tell, but either this pass or the next will be definitely getting down into the other field there. So I suppose I should jump back up to the farm here and make sure we're getting this loading wagon emptied out in an efficient manner so that I can get back out there. I want to get that last bits of straw picked up before our slurry spreaders get to that straw. So we'll go ahead and dump this out real quick like, and we'll race ourselves back out there. Now I need some more silage for our feed. We're coming up short right now, and I need to be able to move forward at least one more month to get to silaging our corn, maybe 2. I'm not sure yet. So while we're thinking about it, and I see all of our feed wagons sitting there, we're going to get a double load of bales. I can buy 16 at a time and have them show up right there in our spawn point, and then they get sucked into the harvest door faster than I can get out of the menus, which is great. And that batch of not straw but silage will keep us going for a little bit here. Man, it's taking longer and longer to save the game. I do get worried that things are going to get to a point where we can't keep up with whoa, where are we going? You go into the menus for a minute to look at stuff, and your tractor tries to drive off into the nearest lake. But I was going to say, we're going to get to a point where we have so much going on the farm that the game just can't keep up. And that's what I get worried about. The bigger we go, the slower things get. But so far, it seems pretty stable. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully we can keep the game running here. Now, I didn't quite get out here in time. We spread some slurry over a little bit of this straw, it looks like. But hopefully I can make it out here and pick this up before they work their way back. Might as well. I'm not going to make it in time, so we'll pick up a little bit of the tidbits right here. There we go. And yeah, we're covering a lot of ground doing the fields this way. A lot less turning around when you can drive across the giant expanse the long way here. So we're going to just get the rest of the straw should fit in here. We're just going to get it picked up, and we'll be finally done with all of these straw pickup, bale pickup, etc. for at least a little bit. We'll get one more cutting of grass this season towards the end of the year, I suspect. I do need to get out here with the drill, though. Man, I know I said I was going to look and see if there's some different drills out and available. We got rid of the one that we had before because we just weren't using it. It was taking up space, but I don't know what we're going to purchase yet. I looked at it a little bit, but I haven't made a decision. All right, we've got all this straw picked up here. We got a couple of little tidbits right up here. I'm going to grab them. Why not? We're here. We got a little bit of capacity. It's not like I'm driving halfway across the field to pick up barely any registerable amounts of straw, but we've got it. And I'm going to drive this thing right on back up to the harvester and get it all dumped out. In fact, we're going to just change this over to the harvester dump. There we go. Oh, this thing isn't as smart as when we have it in the field mode, I think. So maybe I'll keep driving this one manually until I get a little bit closer to the auto drive course. If I created a two-way network around the field like we did in some of the other big fields, it'd probably work out a little bit better. We might yet do that, but I'm going to wait until we actually get through needing to do another job on this field. I think that the slurry tankers are going to be able to figure it out because they're in the other mode. There's AI worker Andy has stopped. It got empty. I think it's going to fold up and come on out here. We're going to check on it in just a minute. By the time I'm done dumping the straw off, we should have confirmation that that's working as expected. And that's all emptied out, so we should be good to go. I'm just going to run this over and park it in the grass as well, like we did with the other one. Probably try and bring it, whoops, that's pretty steep, right up in here in the similar spot. That looks good. And I see an auto drive driver coming down the road here on the mini map. So if I just zip over here real quick, yes, he's coming to refill, which is great because our digestate got full on the output here. So this has not been functioning for a little bit, which is unfortunate, but understandable. And we'll start pulling a bunch of digestate out of here right quick. And this is going to get our slurry production back in line. I just want to jump in here and see that it's filling. It looks good. I mean, we've tested this all before, so I wasn't too worried about it. I just want to check the settings on the other driver again here, make sure that they are all lined up. Looks good. And is he gonna wait or push? He's gonna wait. I like it. All right, well, there's a several thousand gallons of digestate going into this thing. If we check here now, we're creating a bit of a gap, not as much as I would have thought. That's a lot of storage for digestate in this building, but it should be enough to keep the BGA functioning, and we've got a lot of spreading to go on these fields, and we're gonna have a whole lot more once we start in on the corn harvest. So we'll let that go. Should be good to go. I've been thinking a lot about how we're gonna do the giant silage harvest on this map. And I think it's going to be a live stream experience. I'm going to set this up on a multiplayer server. We're going to open it up to the community, and I'm going to get rid of both course play and auto drive. we're going to do all the jobs manually, which should be a lot of fun. So I let them fill up and followed them back out to the fields here. This guy isn't quite set up with horseplay, I think, the way I've had some other ones set up. Usually I let them drive like 20 miles an hour on the field. I'll just bump it up to 25. I don't think it's a big deal. There we go. That should definitely help with driving back and forth across these big fields to get out here. And I always like to make sure my open HUD with mouse is disabled. There we go. And these two drivers are now doing their thing. We need to get out here and put some grass seed in this other part of the field next. So let me go ahead and do a little shopping and see if we can find ourselves a decent air drill. All right, folks, we've done a little bit of shopping around and I have found a drill that I want to use, and it is not what I thought I was going to pick when I first started looking, but we've got this Tandem John Deere seed drill, and this gives me a chance to use our slightly older tractor here as well, and it has dry fertilizer that we're going to be able to put in some of these hoppers, and it should work out okay. It's not the biggest drill, but it seemed like it'd be kind of fun to play around with, so we're going to try our best to dump some seed into these. So let me see if I can get both of them opened up here. And I'm not sure which hopper's going to be which as far as seed and such goes. I might have to dump one and then come back and dump the other. I'm going to try, though, and get this in here. I should be on the first hopper on the truck. Let's try going back here. There we are. So this is the seed. Now let me see if I hop in the other vehicle here and we close that hopper. Does it open? Yeah, it opens the one for the fertilizer. All right. And now imagine, if you will, we've got a hose or something on the top of this thing that we're letting down to actually fill this fertilizer in the right way. It's actually surprisingly lined up. There we go. Oh wow, we're gonna have way too much dry fertilizer left over after this. It is what it is, though. And I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna actually pull this semi all the way around, and we're gonna get right up next to it and then move my auger out to the side. Something like this ought to work. I'm just looking at the back here of the truck. There we go. It gets a little green light when it detects that we're over top of where we need to dump things out. And that was seed, even though it's showing that I'm dumping fertilizer. There we go. And I'm gonna put this back on fertilizer now, and we got to do the same, jumping around. Close the back hopper up, switch the front hopper up. Got to be in this one to actually dump it out. Move this slightly forward. Should start unloading the fertilizer, even if it looks like seed. That's okay. It's all filled up. And I'm just going to put that away. Close this up. I have to make sure that my semi-truck isn't in the way when we come through here later with our slurry spreaders. That should be good to go, folks. And if we just close our hopper, I should be all ready to go. Now it's got my variable seed rate for each planter. I'm kind of curious if this is going to work with precision farming or not. I could see us running into some issues potentially, but our slurry spreaders are already done with what they were doing. Nice. And I suppose I should have made sure this thing will plant grass. I don't know why it wouldn't, but there we go. And now I've got to figure out how this thing actually works. So we need to unfold the seeder, and that should bring it over here onto my left side. Oh, it's going to fold it all the way up and around. Oh, nice. And it like locks in. Oh, that's really cool looking, actually. Okay. And then if we do that, it turns them both on. Fruit cannot be planted in July. They've got individual settings here, so we're going to put both of them down, turn both of them on, and now we should be planting grass everywhere. Oh yeah, I like it. Well, we should probably put this thing in a much better gear. 12th gear, maybe 13. 13 looks good. And we're just gonna go and hit everywhere that we need to go, which is pretty much everywhere in this field. I'm going to do some headlands first, and then we'll get GPS out and start going back and forth. I don't think I could do a course play course on this because I don't really want to replant the other part of the field over there. I am noticing, though, I don't see precision farming data on some of this right now. So let me, before we go too far, pop in here and repurchase my soil information. And we'll go here and repurchase. And then I need to go here and purchase. Okay, now I've got a nice clean map all the way through that part. And I can see the rest of this field down here as well. Increasing nitrogen level to optimum value for grass, which is really low. So we've been way over applying nitrogen is what this is telling me for our grass. We'll probably end up letting the nitrogen level drop back down then, because I think there is a penalty for over applying nitrogen on fields. But I'm going to let the slurry spreaders kind of keep going here. Mostly because I think we're going to get another cutting of grass off of this field this year. But really, I'm trying to prep this to be a big cornfield next year. I think we're going to rotate it and see how that goes. And of course, now we're getting a little bit of rain. It's just a drizzle. I'm going to try and push through here. It looks like we have already cloudy skies in the forecast, so we're not going to be in the rain for too long, and we'll see how it goes. If it starts to get heavier, we're going to have to switch things out. I know as I'm recording this, I've talked to a number of different farmers in the different areas in the Midwest that are racing to get some crops planted before the rain comes at the end of this week. So if you're one of those farmers, hopefully you got all of your crops in the ground that you wanted to in time. And this is looking great. I think this is going to be one of those situations where we can get a couple headland passes in, and then we will be able to start working on up-down rows. We're burning through more fertilizer than I originally thought we would. We're down to 87% already. I'm pretty sure I had this thing full when we started this. But that said, I don't see it going down all of a sudden very fast. We must have got into a different type of soil, maybe. There, it's ticking down again. And here's the direction I think I'm going to go for my up-down rows. So I'm going to go ahead and get this set up while I'm here. I think it was, is it Alt-C to turn on? Alt-R to get width. Hopefully it's going to detect the width of multiple implements behind me. Let's see here. It is not yet. We'll get the course line set up first. There we go. And, oh, it is at an angle. That's not what I wanted at all. Okay, there we go. And I need to figure out how to increase the size of this. Is it Alt and a plus? There we go. We're just going to manually try and set this. I'm trying to do all this while I'm driving here. It's not working out too well for me. I'm going to focus on the headland pass here real quick, and then we'll come back and finish setting the stuff up. I was not expecting the GPS to recognize both of these side-by-side implements. That's a bit much, to be honest. And I think what I'll do, oops, I thought I was raising that up, but apparently not. We're just destroying the grass field down here. That's okay. We've got a few different bits that we could use to plant. And I don't know why we ended up in 16th gear. I must have been pushing some buttons when I was trying to do the plus and minus on the size of my track. There is probably what's going on. Oof, this hill is something else. Let's drop some gears, see if I can pick up some oomph. Here's some oomph. All right, let's get back to it now. I need this to be better aligned with me, so I'm gonna center it here. Is that centered? It's not centered on me. Well, let's put me on the course at least, and then I can start to determine if I've got enough width or not. I think I need to go a little bit wider. That's 2 bunches. That's going to be pretty close. Can I go one more? I think I could get even one more out of it. Let's try that. That looks pretty good. All right, folks, I think we've got a width set up here that's reasonable. We'll see how this goes. It's really starting to rain now, so I should probably wrap up our planting here until tomorrow. We're gonna move the clock forward and get into more daylight here. I'm just gonna get over to the field entrance here. I think that'll be a good spot for us to stop and take a break. It's always unfortunate when the weather doesn't cooperate with us here. And here we go. I think this is going to be as good of a spot as any. We're going to hop on out here and just take a quick look at our animals. Don't want to move time forward if we're not ready. We got 420 in there, 530 looking good, 255. This barn is in dire need of some food. We've got no silage though, so I'm gonna need to head back up to the farm. We're gonna have to put a little bit of food in there, mostly because I want it to be making more feed as we go overnight here. Swim across the pond there. I didn't think it was that deep. And I moved my spawn point when we bought that drill. So now I have to run all the way back over here and see if I can get things set up again to buy another round of silage for ourselves. It's gonna go right here. It's as far back as I can get. And we'll just call the co-op up here. Got a guy. He always brings out bales nice and quick. We're just gonna double check. No, the bales are not getting put in the correct spot for us. So we're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way real quick. All right, there's that. I'm gonna try one more time here real quick to see if I can get these in the right spot. Okay, at least I can get 1 stack done. I don't think I've got it far enough for 2 stacks, so I'm gonna come over here. I used to have it down where I had just the right spot for it. So if I put it here, maybe we'll buy 2 stacks and see what it looks like. Oh, I don't have enough money. Oh, and we got it too far away that time. See, this is why I don't like moving my spawn point. I had things all set up. It was working great. But alas, we're out of money for the first time in a long time on this series. So let's go ahead now that we've got some silage in the bin and move the clock forward. I'm just double checking silage in the bin. Animals, it was this one. We had enough to move 1 day, so here we go. 8 a.m., we're on the way. And there we go. We're in for the 3rd week in July here. Got enough money, I can actually buy some more bales, so let me try that again. Looks like I've got my sell point back in the sweet spot for buying and having them unload automatically. And we'll just check in on our slurry spreading. Looks like we're headed back up to get more digestate, which is exactly what we want to see. We're just about full. Oh, but it's not running because we don't have any slurry, which should be resolved soon. The semis should be filling up from our overnight run. If we take a look here, I'm not sure, maybe we need to start auto drive back off every time we load the save. We'll see. Nope, it's all started off. There's just not that much in there. That's fine. We don't need to be producing it right this minute. But what we can do now is hop back in here and keep getting this grass put in. Now, somebody mentioned I should try the headland management mod out for stuff like this, where it's kind of like GPS for headlands. And I completely forgot about that. I had intended to download that mod and use it here when we were doing this field exactly for this reason, because I knew I was most likely going to be doing it by hand. Oh my goodness, the precision farming menu over there is going a little bit crazy. I don't know what was up with all that flickering, but yeah, we completely forgot about that mod. I'm going to have to make a point to try and remember to get that on here. I'm sure an opportunity is going to come up again after this where we're going to want to try that out. It'd be cool if it worked as well as it sounds like it does. That would be an awesome mod to add into my catalog of mods that I use on all my saves. Oh my goodness, I do not like that flashing over there. That's going to get a little bit annoying. We're going to have to maybe think about getting a headland set up in a way that I can let a worker handle some of this field if it's going to keep doing stuff like that. But hopefully we can at least get these headlands done real quick here and start doing up-down rows. It feels like it always goes a little bit faster once you get onto the up-down rows and you're not having to monkey around with headlands and trying to follow a line and all that good stuff. GPS definitely makes life easy, and I'm kind of curious to see how a normal in-game worker would handle coming up against this grass edge, whether it's going to keep trying to plant through the already planted grass or if he's going to lift up and turn around and head back at that point because he recognizes it's already got grass on it. We may have to give that a shot here once we get to the up-down rows. Or maybe I'll just plant one strip across on the headland here. That might be the better idea. We'll do this, and did that lift all of them? No, it doesn't lift that one. There we go. All right, well, I'm already planting some of it like this. I've got just the smallest strip. I want to make sure it's planted, so I am going to overlap the grass just a bit here. Looking good. And then I'm going to drop the other one down as we come into this row. And we're just going to take this up. I'm going to make sure this whole strip gets done. And that we've got grass here. Our 9RX is impatient to cut across the field behind us here. Listen, buddy, we're working on it as fast as our little drill can go. These workers, they're brutal. They're just trying to get some work done, apparently. All right, I've got the nitrogen levels going down here. Are these both planting? It feels like, oh yeah, there we go. Now I can see both. That's why there's flickering. One of them is on a part of the ground that has plenty of nitrogen on it already, the former grass ground to my right here. And it's the other one that's applying... well, it's not applying anything right now because it says it's got way more than it needs, which is great. So we're not working our way through that fertilizer at the moment. And that's also giving our manure spreaders a chance to get done spreading on this field. I'd rather use the manure than all of the dry fertilizer. We'll hang on to this dry fertilizer. I'm sure we'll use it for something in the future. We may even need to put some grass in somewhere else on the map here. Well, especially, I suppose, if I turn this into a cornfield. I'm not sure I'm going to do that or not yet. We got to think about it. It is nice if we're picking up bales, we want it to be nice and close to the farm because that is a lot of work to go back and forth with the bales a lot. And I feel like it's easier to go back and forth with the semis when we're running silage because you're just kind of on a run and it's not as manual of a task. So maybe we will leave this the grass field and then go off and leave the other fields as corn. Now I'm trying to clean up some bits of this field that were left barren in the corner here. Looks like it's working okay. There we go. And let me find a GPS track here. I think this is the one I want to start off on. Nope. Oh, we already did this one. Oh, well. We're going to clean up the corner there at least. And then I'm going to lift this all up. It looks like it lifts both of them up when I do it this way. But it doesn't actually lift the second drill up. So I'm going to have to do that one separately. And I just got to get back down here and clean up the little missed bit that I have. I got this little patch of dirt right there on the corner that is going to drive me nuts if we don't clean it up. And then we'll just smooth this all out. It doesn't really matter. It should all grow back at about the same time. The half of the field might be a cycle off from what we're planting right now. I don't know. Let's see if I can help it get up this hill. And here we go. Looking good. Pouring on the speed now. All right. we will use a little bit of nitrogen going this way because I guess the two slurry spreaders are working their way from the other end of this field. I suppose I could, when we get back down to the other end here, I'll take the headland and then I'll start working from the creek side back this way. That way we've got plenty of ground that we've already spread on that I can start working on. And did we have a strip missed there? That's from when we're still getting the width on the course laid in here. I feel like I should go back and get that now while I'm thinking about it, but we're already a little ways past it. We'll hopefully remember to catch that on the next pass when we're over here. And we're almost to the end here. Get our headland pass taken care of. I think it'll be good to have a third pass down here just to give us that little bit of extra room for turning around. See if I can not miss any bits on the corner as we do this. I'd rather overlap a little bit than miss some. Looking good. And then, yeah, I'm just going to come down here along the creek and I'm going to look for a good spot to head back up towards the other end. These are kind of crooked rows down here, so maybe what we'll do is take a third headland pass all the way around, and once I get down to the other end of the other corner down there, I will be on the shortest part of the rows, and then I can start there and work my way down the field. I think that's the play here. So off we go. All right, we've made it down to the other end here, and yeah, the rows are significantly more angled and short down here. That's all right. I think what I'll do is I'll take the corner off the way I'm going, and then we can turn back into the short rows to the left. You know what? I can't lift this stuff up how I'd like. Oh no. We're struggling, folks. One of my sides lifted up. Oops. Okay. It throws me off that when I lift one side, they both go up on the top part, but they're not both actually going up. There's a way for me to lift them both, but I need to sort that out. This is just a giant mess, though, at this point. I think I've got enough room to turn around on this end of the field, but I think up by the grass, we're going to need at least one more headland pass, because that's just not going to cut it without running into a lot of our other grass, especially if I'm not able to easily lift up. If I push Alt V, does it do it? Nope. How about Control V? All right. It's an experiment, folks. There used to be a way to lift all implements, and I just need to find it. Maybe it's Shift V? That did not do it. That did one side, not both sides. Well, what we're going to do is, I know we're going to need another set of headland passes up here. We might as well just knock those out right now and not monkey around with it too much. We'll run all the way down and back. That'll give us the 3 passes we have on the other end as well, which felt about right for this. And while we're doing that, hopefully I'm going sort of straight here. I'm not going to bother with the GPS. We're going to hop into the menu here and see if I can find the raise and lower all. It's going to be under vehicle. See what it's called. Lower tool. Lower raise all. Control V. That's what it says. But I definitely did a... Maybe I didn't do control. I did alt and shift. Oh, I can't believe I missed a bit back there. Okay, Control V. It's not doing it, folks. It's unfortunate. It might just be that this is a wonky implement. But either way, we've got to go back and get this little bit that we missed, because that's going to cause all kinds of grief for me, seeing a little bit in the middle of the field. There we go. And Control V. Control V is doing nothing here, folks. Maybe it's the other control. Oh, there's that control did something. But it's not doing the other side. Yeah. It's just not working how I would have envisioned it working. That's unfortunate. Well, we're going to move on now. And just drop that back down. Drop that back down. Full speed ahead. Let's get this done. There's a lot to this field. I am wondering how well the in-game hired help is going to be able to help us out on it. I'm hoping that it'll work out, because otherwise this is going to take a very long time to accomplish. I feel like I'm always optimistic on getting jobs done in a given episode, and then you start diving into something and you realize just how big some of these fields are. Back and forth we go. Lots of grass getting used up though. Our seed is down to 71%, and seed doesn't really go that fast when it, especially for grass, I feel like. So we're in a good spot. We're getting it done. I don't know if we'll get this whole field done without needing to fill up on grass again. We'll have to see how it goes. We've also used more of that solid fertilizer than I expected to, especially given how little the fertilizer the grass actually seems to require. But I guess there were some parts of the field, like what we're in right now, that had no fertilizer on them whatsoever. So it's always good to get some down. There we go, get our speed back up now that we're up the hill. Make sure we're overlapping just a little bit. Don't want to have to keep coming back to clean up missed bits. And there's our slurry spreaders coming back out into the field. Making great progress. If I look at the map here, we're doing a pretty solid job. It looks like we might actually be almost done with the up-down rows. Just a few left. And they'll be on to the headland passes. And we're finally done with these headlands. Let's see about getting back on track with the up-down rows now. We've got just a little bit that are going to be super short and awkward down here, but we'll make our way through. I'm going to go ahead and get my helper lines back on for the GPS. And let's see if we can make this happen without missing a ton of spots. Now, this first little bit, of course, we're going to have a spot missing. Why wouldn't we? I'm going to turn right back in. We're going to go after that and get it cleaned up to start with. I think that's just an artifact of us being off on the previous round. That's all right. All taken care of. And now with the 3 headlands on this side, we can turn into our row a lot better. Hopefully we'll get a nice straight alignment coming into it, so we're not missing a bench on the headland connection. And then we'll make sure we wait until we're well onto the headland before we turn back into the next row. There we go. Oversteer just a little bit to give me some better alignment. I like it. And I think we've got it all worked out here, folks. So I'm going to keep plugging away here on getting some grass done, and we'll check back in with you in just a little bit. folks, a moment of truth. I am going to get this lined up and we're going to see if the worker's able to handle this job or not. So we're going straight. I'm going to Alt X, get rid of that. I'm going to push H. And the machine appears to be under worker control now. And what I want to see is when I get to the far end here, if it's going to turn around on our makeshift headland here, or if it's going to try and keep going into the other part of the grass field. And that'll tell me if we can let a hired help kind of take the lead on the rest of this field. We've time-lapsed out for a while here, and I'm not even to the longest part of the rows yet. So we've got a while left to go on this field, which is good. It's fine. But we've got to get the work done somehow. And I can't be the one doing all the work. Here we go. It's lifting that up. It doesn't lift the other side up, and of course it left a little bit there. That's unfortunate. And it's trying to back up. What is going on? Okay, it detected it needed a bigger turnaround zone. That's is what it is. A little unfortunate. I'm not happy it left that little piece there. Is it going to have to back up now? Or is it just going to drive off and do nothing? Because it's confused. No, it wants to back up from here. Okay. You don't seem to be very good at backing up, though. Is it only going to detect one of the two as a work area? What is it doing? Oh, it's working. Okay. Bizarre. We may have to come back out and clean up some tidbits around the headland, but at least it was able to detect the headlands. It's going to be very inefficient turning around and dealing with all that, but it's going to free me up to go step away and look at a few other things around the farm here, hopefully. I'm just going to follow it along here to our angled rows and make sure that it can handle things down here as well. I do know that the hired help tends to not do so well unless it's a square field most of the time, but every once in a while it can handle something like this, even if it means it's probably going to leave a little bit of ground unplanted on every strip. But if I already know that from the other side, it just means I'll have to make one headland pass around and we'll be good to go. This guy needs to go just a little bit faster on the end rows. I think he's trying to raise the implements up and running into some issues maybe. Let's go. Hello. There's definitely a worker still in the driver's seat. It's just lost all semblance of hope. Doesn't know what to do. All right, well, there go my hopes and dreams, folks. It looks like we're going to be tackling this all on our own. That is what I was afraid of. That's okay. We'll get it done. Pop this up a few gears. Get ourselves turned around and back up the other way. We're going to have a little bit to clean up on the other end before I forget as well. That's all right. We'll get it. And here we go. All right, well, we're back to planting, folks. I'm gonna try and get this field done here. We'll see how it goes. Before we forget, though, I am going to take care of these bits down on the end of the field here on both parts. No sense leaving it all down there and messy because I will forget about them later. And there we are. I am going to go ahead and get this guy going. We're going to keep working on this a bit off camera, I guess. And we'll catch you in the next episode to see what comes next on the farm. I don't even know. We'll figure it out together. Hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. If you have, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. That's all for today. Ketterk out.